and welcome back to Purple Collar Life. In today's video, oil change in the Ford Ranger, and I'm going to talk about how I'm going to save some money by spending a little bit more on oil. I've mentioned in the past that I put a lot of miles on this little Ranger. I have a 165-mile daily commute. So if you do that math, on an average of 20 work days in a month, that's over 3,000 miles a month. So I do a lot of oil changes on the Ranger. Now sometimes I don't do them myself. Sometimes if I'm running out of time, I take them to the dealership. I take the Ranger to the dealership, and that costs me about $60 for an oil change in this little truck. But most of the time, if I can squeeze in the time, I do the oil change myself, and I've done it with what you see right here behind me. Let's take a look at what we've got. This Ranger has the 2.3 liter 16 valve 4-cylinder engine, and I've always in the past used this Motorcraft synthetic blend 5W20 with a Motorcraft FL 910S filter. So at today's prices, 2024, and we are at the start of June, that oil and filter cost me about $37. So for $37, just about every month I'm changing oil in the Ford Ranger. That's a lot of oil, that's a lot of filters, but that's also a lot of time. That means once a month I have to crawl underneath the truck and do the oil change, and that's why sometimes I end up taking it to the dealership that costs me $60. I don't know if you've ever noticed in the background of some of our videos, but up above the workbench here in my garage, I've got a Pendrake motor oil hand-painted sign. We live here in the heart of oil and gas country, where it all started in Northwest Pennsylvania, where oil was first discovered by Colonel Drake. So I've always had an interest in motor oils and oil and gasoline, just because this area is rich in that history. So as I was thinking about the miles I put on my truck, I thought, you know, I am using a lot of oil, I'm spending a lot of money, and I'm spending time changing the oil. What if I got an oil that lasted me longer between oil changes? What if I got something that would last 10 or 12,000 miles guaranteed on a high mileage vehicle like this Ford Ranger with 112,000 miles on it that I drive 165 miles every day? Now in the past, I've used oils like Royal Purple, Amsoil, and then most recently, what I thought was the best long life oil was this Motorcraft synthetic blend, or Mobil 1. But I recently learned something about that Motorcraft synthetic blend. There's actually not a listing on it how much is synthetic oil, how much is conventional oil. So I wasn't sure how long I could extend the intervals on my truck with that oil, because I have no idea how much is synthetic, how much is conventional, and what the life of that oil will be in my truck on my daily commute. So once I started looking into high mileage motor oil, Amsoil rose to the top of the list. 12,000 mile oil change intervals on this high mileage oil for vehicles with 75,000 miles or more from Amsoil meant that I would be changing the oil a lot less often, but would it save me money? So I did the math. So with the Motorcraft, I was changing my oil every month or month and a half at about $37 for the oil change if I did it myself. That meant I was spending about $300 a year on oil and filters alone if I did every oil change myself. Now probably every other or every third I went ahead and let the dealership do, so it was costing me more than $300 a year on oil for the Ford Ranger. And I was probably getting subpar oil because I don't know what that blend of that Motorcraft oil was. And when you have it done at the dealership, you're probably getting just a bulk grade oil. So when I did the math on the Amsoil, changing every 12,000 miles, I came up to about $150 a year. I'll put a link down below in the description of this video to a place where you can go to type in your vehicle type, look at the kit that Amsoil offers. The person that I got my oil through was Clovis Lubricants, and I'll put that link down below in the description, and I'll put it here in the video. I talked to Mark over there. He's got his phone number on the website. He is super helpful. He talked me through finding the right kit for my Ranger, and I even went ahead and got the oil for the Super Duty, the XT250, and the Ski Nautique boat, because I want to do proper oil changes in those vehicles as we come into summer. And we're going to get a lot more use, a lot more towing out of the big truck, some use in the boat, doing some water skiing and wakeboarding, and then as always, my daily commute here in the Ranger. I wanted to get a good oil in there for the rest of summer, and when I did the math on the Amsoil, for half the price, that's right, about $150 a year, I can get a much better oil and filter in my Ranger and not have to change the oil quite so often. So yes, I'm spending a little bit more per oil change, but I'm changing the oil less often and I'm getting a better quality oil and filter. So if you go to that link down below and type in this type of vehicle, so I have a 2010 Ford Ranger with the 2.3 liter 4-cylinder engine. It recommends a kit. So in the kit that I was looking at, I was going to get the Amsoil High Mileage Motor Oil, 4 quarts of it, 5W20, 100% synthetic, with 1 filter. It was a Wix filter, and that was going to cost me $57.52. Now I actually wanted to use the Amsoil filter because I like the ratings of the filtration on these filters. So I went ahead and built my own kit. I got 4 quarts of the 5W20 high mileage motor oil for this truck, plus the Amsoil filter, and I came up to, with the discount, $51.16. So let me explain that discount to you. You can sign up to become a preferred customer, and that gives you a discount on every single thing you buy. So since I was getting oil for the big truck, and the little truck, and the XT250, and the boat, it made sense to get that discount and save money on every quart and every filter. So for $51.16, I'm going to have an oil change that'll last in my truck for 12,000 miles. I won't be changing the oil every single month this summer like I would be doing if I were using less quality oil and changing it at 3,000 to 5,000 mile intervals. I'm going to let this go 12,000 miles, and then we'll go ahead and do an oil analysis to see how this oil held up over that 12,000 mile period in the Ford Ranger on my long daily commute. Let's go ahead and get started on the oil change. Let me show you what tools we need. I've actually made a video in the past, step by step, on how to change the oil in the Ranger, but we're going to do it again with the better oil, better filter, and hopefully in the last video I got oil all over my arm. This time we'll try to do a little bit better and not spill oil all over the place. So I of course have the oil and filter. I've got some rags here for when we do spill oil. I've got my wrench, 1/2 inch is the size of the drain plug underneath this truck. Got some rubber gloves. I've got a light because it's always better to have light underneath the truck when you're changing the oil. Got my oil drain pan, my crawler, and I have lifted the front end of the truck up on some wood so that I can squeeze underneath there a little bit easier for the oil change, have a little bit more light, a little bit more space. I'm going to go ahead and loosen and remove the cap for the oil fill. That'll let the oil drain a little bit better, and pull out the dipstick just a hair, again, to let that oil drain better. I do wear safety glasses when I'm underneath the truck, and if you're wondering why would you need safety glasses for something like an oil change, it's because underneath the truck here, we've got the oil undercoating on the truck, and anytime any of that debris falls down in your face, you don't want to get it in your eyes, whether it's oil or rust or anything that's underneath the truck. So the safety glasses just keep that stuff from getting in my eyes when I'm working underneath the truck. Now I like to roll in from the side of the truck. I think it's a little bit easier to get to where I need to go. So we're gonna go that way. One other note, I do have the driver's side of the truck a little bit higher on those blocks than the passenger side because the oil drains from driver's side to passenger side out the plug of the oil pan. Okay, when we slide underneath here, we can see the engine, transmission, and right there is the drain plug for the oil. So we'll go ahead and use the wrench to get that out. It's usually at least once a day that I'm wrong. Today was about the size of that bolt on the drain pan. It is a 9/16. All right, let's try 13 millimeter. That seems right. That was on there tight. That's plenty tight enough. No need to put it on as tight as it was before. Okay, next we want to take off the filter, which is right here close to us. We're going to bring our oil drain pan down. Yep, this is the one that gets my arm on. Oily. Every time. Okay, so we've got our new oil filter here. This is the Amsoil EA15K51. We just put a little bit of oil on the gasket before we install this onto here. Want to make contact, turn about one more time, but we don't need to go crazy. You shouldn't have to break your arm to get these things off. Right there should be good. If we take a look here at my oil stock shelf, you can see I stock filters and everything ahead, but you can see I have used Amsoil in the past. Used it in the four-wheeler. I've used it in the automatic transmission of an old vehicle that we had. There's some 5W30 extended life oil. No idea how old that was, but okay, that was the hard and messy part. The rest is easy, pretty clean. You want to use a nice clean funnel to pour your oil, fresh oil, into the engine. There's no sense in using a funnel with a bunch of dust and dirt in it. That's just going to be more work for your filter to do and more contaminants already in your oil running through the engine. I like to let them drip out a little bit. Make sure you get all 4 quarts in. You can see the bottle does show this is recyclable. HDPE is high density polyethylene. We want to go ahead and recycle properly our plastic oil container. This is quart number 2 of 4. This 2.3 liter Ford engine takes 4 quarts of oil, including what goes in the filter. We'll check it at about 3.5. And as you can see, here's what the front of the bottle says. 100% synthetic, high mileage motor oil, premium protection for vehicles with over 75,000 miles. Cleans and protects up to 12,000 miles or 1 year. Purpose built for high mileage vehicles. Unique formulation delivers extra detergency and robust viscosity to clean and protect high mileage engines. Quart number 3. It's going to be so nice to go a longer interval without changing the oil. Now I know some of you will probably say, hey, you could go 10,000 miles on a regular oil change anyway. I just don't trust, with my long commute and the mileage of this vehicle and how dependable I rely on it being, to extend the life of a regular oil. When I see an oil like this Amsoil that is a high quality 100% synthetic oil made for a high mileage engine, and it says 12,000 miles or 1 year on the oil change, and it says 12,000 miles or 1 year on the oil change, that makes me feel better about waiting longer intervals to change my oil with my daily commute. Nothing worse than being stranded alongside the road an hour and a half to 2 hours away from home. Olive is getting tired of my oil change video, and she doesn't like being here in the garage with me while Jennifer's doing the garage show over at the other building. If you follow us on Instagram and Facebook, you know that we've had a garage show in the big pole building. Jennifer's working at that while I'm here doing some oil changes. I did put some firewood out at the garage sale to see if anybody would buy my bundled cherry seasoned hardwood firewood. No takers yet, but we've still got a day of the sale left. Maybe somebody will scarf them up here on the last day. They'd be great for someone who's traveling to yard sales while they're also camping. They might want to take that firewood back and use it at their campsite. But so far, no takers on bundled firewood at the garage sale. So if you're not already following us on Instagram or Facebook, go ahead and find us on those channels. Purple Collar Life is our tag name there. Also, just like it is here on YouTube, lots more videos coming up about the Ford Bronco too. I know a lot of you are excited to see the adventures we take with this Ford Bronco. Now let's get back to the oil change and the Ranger. We've got one more quart to put in. I'm interested to hear the thoughts of those of you who will leave a comment on these long oil change intervals. See what your thoughts are on leaving the oil in here for 12,000 miles. One of the things I really like about the Amsoil brand is that you can actually get data sheets on all their oil. You won't find this with Mobil 1. You can't find any of the information about what actually is inside that oil. But Amsoil is very transparent about the technical properties of the oil that you're putting in your vehicle, which is very impressive. They have the same type of data sheet for their oil filters, which again is really nice to have that information. So we're gonna let that drain back down through the crankcase. We'll check the oil level on the dipstick here. Advanced Auto gives these stickers away for free. 124,600 will be my next oil change. So I write that 124,600 twice on the sticker, and then I stick it on my windshield as a reminder. We're currently 112,600, so my reminder as I drive. Put the dipstick back in, check our oil level. We are right in the middle of the safe zone, which is perfect. That's where I went and talked to Mark about the type of oil that would be best for my Ford Ranger for my daily commute. I went with this Amsoil High Mileage synthetic oil, and I'm looking forward to seeing this 12,000 mile oil change interval in the Ranger. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative and entertaining, please give us a big thumbs up down below. Leave those comments down below on your thoughts on long-term oil change intervals. I'd like to see what you guys think who have long commutes like me. Again, 3,000 miles a month means a lot of oil changes with this Ranger. I'm looking forward to cutting those number of oil changes down and saving some money while using a better quality oil. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you again the next time.
Yes.